Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Dana again, and today you're at Research Road, and it's the 13th of August, 2024. This will be a weekly series not unlike The Roads Not Taken, but we'll cover science and related news. Before we get started, we have a little bit of show news. We're working on an idea to give you something a little more interesting to look at during the show. You'll see it soon. So, starting off with tech news. Teens at a STEM high school in Colorado are working on a system to alert drivers when wildlife is near. The system uses infrared cameras and machine learning to identify wildlife. Hellmann's mayonnaise is being used by researchers to stand in for plasma in research about fusion. Apparently, the Mayo shares similar properties with matter in the plasma state. A number of you sent messages asking if former President Trump's claims about Harris using AI to increase her crowd size were true. No, there's been no evidence to back those claims, and there are a number of fact checks available. And now on to space. The uncertain condition of the Boeing Starliner has led NASA to raise the possibility of the 2 members of the crew remaining aboard the space station for an additional 6 months. They have been there more than 2 months so far. While the extension isn't certain yet, the adventure is turning into Gilligan's Space Station. Researchers are proposing dumping tiny rod-shaped metal particles into the atmosphere of Mars. They believe this will help terraform the planet and make it more habitable for humans. It's basically space glitter. Now it's time to talk about climate change. According to a recent study, glaciers in the Andes are the smallest they've been in at least 11,000 years. In semi-related news, parts of the capital of Alaska were flooded by a glacial lake outburst. In the world of animals, a teacher in California found a juvenile bear in the classroom. The teacher's last name was Salmon. That's not actually a dad joke. A bloom of algae off the southern coast of California is producing a toxin that is poisoning dolphins and sea lions. Scientists are saying that greater spotted eagles are altering their migratory paths. To avoid the war in Ukraine, the researchers analyzed information about conflict activity and previous migration paths. Females are spending about 50 hours longer traveling. In health news, on July 20th, there was a Moms and Mutts puppy adoption event in Colorado. One of the pups had rabies. People and pets who came into contact with it may need medical treatment. If you attended, there is a hotline for the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, who has asked anyone who attended the event to call 3036-922-700 to determine whether they could be at risk. The after-hours number is 303-370-9395. Now let's dig up the past a little. The world's oldest lunisolar calendar may have been unearthed in Turkey. Researchers believe it records the impact of a comet 13,000 years ago. The comet strike is believed to have brought about a mini ice age that led to advancements in agriculture. A study has mapped a 40-mile branch of the Nile River that is now dried up. Satellite imagery and samples of the soil show that a branch of the Nile ran much closer to the pyramids than was previously demonstrated. This happened back in May, but the show didn't exist then. My key takeaway is that you're telling me it wasn't aliens? And finally, on to oddities. Archaeologists have been reviewing photos taken aboard the International Space Station to engage in a little space archaeology. It's providing insight into how astronauts use and store items in space. Despite being a symbol of the United States for centuries, the bald eagle is not the national bird. A bill in the Senate aims to change that. It is expected that the House will follow suit. This week's quote is attributed to Albert Einstein. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. So that's all the data we have to date. Hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you again soon.